Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fitness Friday. Yesterday, you got to, or not yesterday, last week, you got to listen to just me. But this week, we have Coach Idris back with us, and we're kind of going to discuss the same topic that I went over. And I kind of discussed some of the mistakes that I've made with my fitness journey. But really, I wanted to have this conversation with Coach Idris and just get his opinion and what he's seen from other clients and other people that he's had this discussion with. So let me bring in his intro. And let me introduce you to my friend, Coach Idris. He is a National Academy of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer with 25 years experience. Idris specializes in women's fitness through NASM. He is a nutritional counselor, certified EMT, and LVN. He has worked helping hundreds of clients from high school to professional athletes and housewives to CEOs of companies to achieve their weight loss and fitness goals. He is the former 2002 Mr. USA bodybuilding champion with 20 years of competition experience. He's also an Air Force military veteran where he served in Desert Storm as a combat medic. Everybody help me welcome my friend, Coach Idris. Woohoo! I always feel like cheering after that video.
I do too. That dude is awesome.
I think it's the music. I'm like really like built around music, and I'm like kind of dancing. Like I have to stop myself while it's going, just because I like start moving my body. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, I actually start crying a little bit when I see that. I mean, not that it's touching. I'm like, I don't look like that anymore.
I see.
I got to collect myself before the camera.
I love it. No, that's awesome. So I'm excited today. Like I want to hear your opinion on kind of some of the stuff that I discussed last week. And we already kind of discussed a little bit of it before we got on. And you definitely are going down a different road than what I was going down last week. So it's kind of exciting. I'm excited to see where this goes. So yeah. So I don't know. How have you been? I guess.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just trying to get in shape. Got some stuff coming up next year, as you know about, and got my grandson coming at the end of October.
Yay!
So that's cool.
How
Yeah.
cool.
Everybody's daughter's birthday is this month. My son is next month. I'm November. Alicia's December. Like this, a lot of stuff going. Yeah.
Got a lot of celebrating to do.
Birthdays, yeah.
Better stick to the program though, right?
Well, like I said, I don't never get my body fat too high. It's just I know from training people for so long, it's too hard to get back down. So I just don't let it go up.
Yeah.
It's too hard. It's too hard. Man.
Yeah. So I mean, you work so hard to get it to a certain place. And then when you kind of slack off, then you're like, it gets a little frustrating because you're just like, look at what I accomplished. And then I gave up. And then I have to get right back to that and then go further. And yeah, that's not fun. I don't like that.
I mean, I've never let myself get out of shape because it doesn't make sense. There's no cupcake that good. You know what I mean? There's just no beer that good to me. So for me, I can always control, if I'm looking, I don't like what I'm seeing, I just go, change what I'm doing. It's not a big deal to me. Because I've seen too many people and how unhappy they are. I don't want to be like that. Just because of food.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of food? I mean, that's something completely preventable. All you gotta do is, nobody said you can't eat, just don't eat as much, or certain times or whatever, but you can still eat. You just don't eat,
Yeah.
So it's always been easy for me. If it makes sense to me, I just do it.
Yeah.
That's how most of my life is. I'm like, what? Okay, that makes sense. That's it. Just do it,
Well, the crazy thing is when you do it too, like you get into this mode of like how good it makes you feel, right? And that like when I go off track, I eat those bad foods, I immediately feel awful, not just awful about what I did, but awful within my body. Like I feel different, right? And I hate that feeling. I've learned that like over the past, like I talked to you a little bit about my stress that I had gone through and I was eating a little bit more, right? And I was just thinking, why do I even allow myself to do this? Like I've got to find a better habit, a better way to deal
If
with my stress,
if you remember that subject, about how you feel when you go off track and stuff, because
Mhm.
we'll come back to that. But the original question I think was what? What
So
the question that you answered last week. Exactly.
yeah, so what mistakes do we make when we start our fitness journey
Okay,
or
that's right. That's right.
like going
And I
out?
was telling you beforehand, the biggest mistake everyone makes. Almost everyone makes this mistake. I did is we actually think we know what we're doing when we start, and we don't. And we're getting information from the internet as if that's going to be, all I need to do is read what it says on the internet, and I'm gonna get my and all my dreams will come true. And it's ridiculous. It's honestly one of the most ridiculous things that we do. Even me. Funny, I was like, dude, you don't even know what you're doing. You're doing what this is telling you to do, but you don't even know why it's happening. You don't know why it's working. You don't know why it's not working. You don't know anything. So why do people think they're going to go into a program with something their girlfriend told them or something they read? At least go to a professional. Even if the professional is a bad one, at least they, are going to set you on some kind of path. But
Well,
why
it
would
worked
you?
for her, so it's gonna work for me, right?
All of it. It's just none of it makes any sense. And none of it, because if you're like me, me, if you don't use common sense around me, we probably ain't gonna be friends very long. Because common sense can save you from a lot of stuff. Okay. And if you
Yeah.
don't have any and you ain't using it, you're gonna always find yourself bumping your head on something. It's just, if you're over the age of 30, you've done it a bunch and you've seen it enough, right? So
Yeah.
why are you doing something that you don't really know what you're doing? It's not working because you don't know what you're doing,
Mhm.
whatever it is. Like I'll tell people, a bad diet, you out and working out and kicking your own butt, running 20, it doesn't matter if you have a bad diet.
Yeah.
And whenever I say that, people automatically talk about what kind of, well, I eat organic, or I'm like, I didn't say you eat bad foods. I
Yeah.
said your diet is bad. For what you're trying to achieve, you'll never get there eating that way. So I don't care what you're eating. You can be eating clean, you can be eating vegan. It doesn't matter what you're eating. It ain't going. You're not going to achieve the goals you're looking for eating that way.
Yeah.
So if you don't know that, you're never gonna. You're gonna go, well, this doesn't work for me. Oh, I've heard it. I've heard somebody say exercise doesn't work for me, and I'm like, think about that. It doesn't work for me. And they say this, like this comes out of people's mouths, and I'm looking at adults, full grown, 40, 50-year-old people say this. I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't work for you? Why? I could never lose weight. You've never seen a person that was 400 pounds lose weight and do a marathon? We've all seen it. So why do they say these things? It makes no sense to me. Even when it came when Tracy was like, three doctors told me because of my habits, my metabolism will never speed up again. I'm like, you act like you're 700 pounds. You're not that heavy. Like
Yeah.
you're 20, and she's maybe 20 pounds overweight. And it's not moving, but it ain't moving because it can't. It's moving because it's not. And we just had to figure out. And 3 days later, it started speeding up again. And three
Yeah.
doctors told her this. So that's what I'm saying. Don't think all your advice is good, but you
Mhm.
also got to use some common sense. Wait a minute. There's way worse people than me that got their metabolisms working again. You know what I'm saying? You got to do that.
Yeah,
You
I
have
think I think it's easier to have somebody to look towards and say, okay, they went through what I went through and they were able to accomplish that. And I think that that's a lot of what people see when they see things online, right? You have like these friends, you have all these people that are posting before and after
Well, that's
pictures.
why I post them. I mean, that's the reason I post them, so people can kind of relate. When I was bodybuilding, now think about this. When I was bodybuilding and I was looking at Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger's and these people, I was thinking they could do that, I can do that. Now look what I was asking to do.
Yeah.
I was asking to do something very few people on the planet can do. And
Yeah.
I did it.
Mhm.
and I did it. So don't tell me that you can't do something just because it seems out of reach. But you had to, but again, you got to know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta actually know what you're doing. And that's the problem, is people don't realize that they don't know enough. It's not that they're not trying. It's not that they're not listening. The information that they're receiving, whether from a trainer or from the internet or from a friend, isn't working for them. The information you're receiving isn't the right information for you. Doesn't mean there's no information for you. It's just that what you're receiving at the moment is not good, but doesn't work for you. So you need to seek out more information or find people who know something different. Stop buying into people's telling you can't get better, or telling you you're great when you know you're not. Like, I hate that too. Like, people convincing people that it's okay. I know you're not losing the weight like you. I know you're not losing your weight, but look how strong you are. No, you ain't gonna never hear that from me. I tell people straight up, no, I love that you're strong, but we still need to get the weight where it needs to be. Okay, so don't fall in love with your strength. That's a great thing, but we still need. I still want to see that scale go down.
Yeah, it's kind of like the thing. I think a lot of women do this for each other too. Is they're like, oh, you don't need to worry about your weight. You have a beautiful smile, and it's like, no, okay. Like, if this person wants to fix something, they want to better themselves, then be supportive in what they're doing, because this is something that they recognize.
But you know why people do that? There's a reason why. Remember that people don't do weird stuff for nothing. There's a reason that people do that.
Yeah.
They do it because who doesn't know what you just said? Who doesn't know that it doesn't matter what you think I should do? I have to like it. I have to actually like what you're telling me. So don't tell me that it's okay for me to be 7 feet tall when I'm a woman. There ain't too many guys that are taller than me. That's a very hard proposition. Don't tell me, we are okay with it. I'm not okay with it. So when you tell people they're okay with something, all you're doing is, that's your issue, because you want people to tell you you to be okay with what you're not okay with. I will never tell you to be okay with something you're not okay with, because I'm not okay with things I'm not okay with. So I will tell everybody, what is it that you want? Okay, let's get you what makes you happy. Now, if this is unrealistic or unattainable, I'll be like, well, we can't do that, and this is why, and blah, 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 blah. Like, some people want to be really ripped. I'm like, that's very, very hard life. It's a hard life being ripped all the time. The actor Zac Efron, there's a little reel, him talking about Baywatch when he was all cut up. And I saw that movie, and I was looking at him like, I know what he's going through right now, shooting a movie like that. Yeah. You got to stay like that the whole movie. You're eating chicken and veggies all the time for months until that movie's over. Okay. And doing cardio and working out, because the body changes. Like, when you're that lean, any little thing smooths you over and you don't look hard anymore. One meal and your water will hold and you won't see it. One meal. Yeah. So it's very hard. And he said in an interview, he was like, I would never, ever do that again. He goes, that was the worst. So a lot of times people say that.
Yeah. And so it's funny. Yeah, I was watching this interview with Channing Tatum which, he's one of those celebrities that's like on my list, right? And I'm like, if I ever know you. No, but he was asked, like, what is it like, do you ever take a cheat day? Because he's getting prepared to do Magic Mike #3, right? And so he was asked, do you ever take a cheat day? And he's like, no, I can't. Like, you can't afford to do that when you're trying to get into that type of.
That's why I don't give cheat days. Yeah. That's my clients. Do I give cheat days? I don't give cheat days. Here's the problem, and it's even different for him than it is for my typical client. My typical client is not a competitor. My average client is a person who's trying to feel good, live their life the way they want, look the way they want, feel the way they want. That's my. So we're not trying to get shredded. Okay, most people ain't trying to do that. But they still want to get where they want to go. Channing Tatum is doing it specifically for a movie. You know what I'm saying? So the people that I'm dealing with have a problem with food. He doesn't have a problem with food.
Yeah.
They do have a problem with food. Food dictates they eat when they're happy, they eat when they're sad. They're using food the wrong way. Yeah. I wouldn't tell an alcoholic to have sips on the weekend. You can have a cheat day. I wouldn't tell a drug addict you can have a cheat. AA doesn't give cheat days.
Yeah.
Right? So why would I give you a cheat day to dabble in something you struggle with for the last 40, 50 years? That's actually cruel. you ever see, you probably happens to everybody when they first change their diet. Their friends and family be goofy about it. You can't have that. I think your kids do that to you, right? Okay. That's basically what you do to your client when you give them a cheat day.
You're like dangling the carrot above.
Yeah, on Saturday you could do this, and they're looking forward to Saturday, and then Saturday comes and they overindulge or they get sick from it or something like that. I want you to turn this into, I don't really need that. Just like with alcohol and just like with drugs, you need to look at certain foods and I just don't need that anymore. And this is what I mean by, if you go into a program and you don't know what you're doing and you don't have anybody telling you, all of these things we're talking about are all parts of training. Doubting yourself, plateaus, metabolism not speeding up, overtraining, staying within yourself and not doing exercises you shouldn't be doing because you're not strong enough to do. I can go on and on and on. That's why we use like top 5. I'm like, no, they're all on and on of all the mistakes people make because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. The problem is, and it's amazing to me how people don't look at it seriously. Like no one, like I said to you earlier, no one would say, hey, let's go build a house and just go out there and, okay, pull out YouTube. How do we start? Oh, we need some sticks? Where did we get those sticks from? The lumber yard? Okay, let's go to the lumber yard. Like no one would do that. No one would do that. They would hire somebody who actually knows how to build a home. Right? That's what we do with our bodies. In our bodies, we keep our entire lives. A home we might sell so we build it.
Yeah.
We don't even, it's completely unattached. But our bodies that keep us alive, our hearts, our lungs, we have nothing in our lives longer than we have ourselves in our lives. Our mothers are not in our lives, our whole lives. Even if your mother gives birth to you and you die before her, you was still in your own body, inside her body. You don't know her yet. She knows you're in there, but you don't know her yet. So you only know you your whole life. And that's what you shave corners.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to shave corners. You got an $800 car payment, but you're going to be cheap on hiring a trainer to help you how to get your body. And if you hire the right trainer, you should be able to do it in 6 months and take it for the rest of your life. So it's only a short investment. This is why most people fail. Is because they really don't really get how hard it is. It is extremely hard. I'm changing people's diets. This morning, I'm talking to Tony, and she's like, I've been plateaued the whole week, and I'm like, well, you also haven't had sleep this whole week, Your roommate's been loud, what have you, but she hasn't been sleeping. And I'm like, and she's like, well, maybe she texted me, maybe we should drop carbs. And I called her up. I'm like, it's hard for me to drop carbs when I'm not sure if that's the problem. It could be the fact that you're not getting any sleep.
Yeah.
I go, that's a whole week. I said, I can't just assume. I go, now I got to tell people there's three sides to training. There's nutrition, there's training, and then there's recuperation. All of those have to work in sync.
Yeah.
So when things aren't going well, when things aren't going well for me, I'm like, okay, which one is it? Is it my training? Is it my nutrition? Is it all of them? Is it one of them? But if one of them is off, that's probably why you're not seeing what your results. One of them is usually off.
Yeah, and we have a lot of people who do these fad diets, these cookie cutter diets, right? And they get into this mode following what somebody else did, thinking that they're going to have the same results. And then when they don't get those same results, they don't know the things to change to make it work for them. And that was like where I was too, like I was keeping my calories low. I basically put my body in starvation mode, like we talked about, because I was keeping them so low and I was forgetting to eat sometimes because I was so busy. And sometimes, like everybody does these diets that they see other people do and they don't even realize how they're working. So they don't know how to change those things. Like if it is more sleep that you need,
even if they create their own diet, because there's going to be people that say, well, I just know what healthy eating is. And I'm like, yeah, but you still don't understand the process of the breakdown of digestion. Like, do you understand what happens when a body takes in a cherry? When the body takes in protein? Do you understand where things go, how the body's using it, and how it affects your energy levels, how it affects your body fat levels, how it affects your musculature, how it affects your bone density? Like, that's the stuff that you have to know to feed some. I may call it like when I'm telling people, I go, do you realize when I'm doing your nutrition, y'all think I'm just like saying, just give me some chicken? No, I'm going, okay, chicken's going to do this for us.
Yeah.
4 ounces is going to do this for us. 50 grams of carbs coming from yams is going to do this for us. That's completely different than just go, here's a 600 calorie diet. Here's a 1200 calorie diet. I don't care as long as you don't go over 1200.
Yeah.
80% of it could be fat. 80% of it could be carbs. Why is that going to work? Why is that going to help me? Why is 1200 calorie diet going to help me? Explain to me why. Well, because it's low in calories and you burn more calories. Okay, so I burn more than 1200 calories? Well, I don't really know how many calories you burn. Then how do you know this diet's going to work, right? And what does work mean? I lose weight. Do I get weaker when I lose my weight? Am I losing muscle when I lose the weight? Because that means my metabolism is going to slow down. If I lose weight, and if it's not body fat only, my body fat's going to go up because I'm losing muscle too.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It's so much, but nobody they don't, for the good trainers out there, all this stuff is going on in our head while we're talking to y'all. Mm-hmm. All this stuff. Well, all you hear is the end result. Give me 2 cups of vegetables and some chicken. That's all you get to hear. Because you don't need to know the rest. Because you wouldn't know what to do with the information anyway. And you don't care.
Yeah, most people are just out there trying to find the next best thing, right? They want to be able to lose that weight really fast for a reason. Usually it's like vacation, wedding, like something like that they want to lose it for, right? And then they're not even planning on keeping it for forever. So they're just looking for that new shiny thing for them to keep, right?
But that's a little different than this subject because they're not trying to be healthier. They're just, I don't understand that either. Yeah. So I can walk around every day around my lady, looking just like this. But when I go on vacation, I'm gonna be around a bunch of strangers. I need to look like somebody else. I need to, like, why do people who ain't gonna never see me again? I gotta have a 6-pack for them. Like, I don't even know these people. So the people that I've spent around, my partner, like everybody else, I could be, Fred Sanford, Grady. I could be all scruffy. But I'm gonna go around a bunch of strangers and I gotta look like them. I don't get that.
I think it's mostly the pictures that people take, right? Like you're just like, or sitting around in a bathing suit all day long and you're like, yeah, I want to feel good about myself. At least that's how I
don't go. If you went on vacation once a year, those aren't the only pictures you took all year. You've been taking pictures all year round in all your outfits. Don't sit there and act like there's only one time you taking pictures in the bathing suit. You'll go to the beach for the night, for the day. You're taking pictures.
No, of course, no. That's why in my life, I know I want to go do all those things all the time.
No, but everybody does. No one only takes pictures on vacation. Come on, man. We would need an iCloud. People take pictures every single day they wake up today. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They can't stop taking pictures on the way to the car, from the car to the office, from the office back home. Taking selfies all day at the same angle. Click, click, click. I'm like, what is wrong with that? Do they have another side of their face? How come there's only one? Well, you know what? If you don't want to show it, I don't want to see it. If you're ashamed of it, I might not want to see it.
No, it's funny. I always love that when I go on vacation. Actually, when we lived in Hawaii, it was so funny. You could always tell who was there on vacation and who actually lived there, because those who live there just were there to enjoy the day, right? But I literally would watch people come on vacation, and especially like teens or like early college year type girls, right? They'd go out to the beach and they would sit and do a photo shoot for like a 2-hour straight like photo shoot with each other. And it's just, I love that they love themselves and they like want to appreciate their body.
Why do women always got to say that? I love that they love themselves.
No, I do, because you know why? I will say this, because even the most beautiful girls hate something about themselves, right? And so,
so you think that they don't? You think that they don't hate something about themselves just because they're out taking pictures?
No, I'm saying I appreciate that they appreciate something and they can celebrate something.
And I said, women get on my nerves. I'm just so happy that they're happy about their happiness.
Guess what? I want to be happy about your happiness.
I'm happy about yours, but I'm gonna tell everybody I'm so happy that Cherie's happy that she's happy.
No, I always laugh because I would always be there on the beach and I'd be like,
it's not that I said I have a problem with us being happy for them. I have a problem hearing y'all say it. Oh, good for her. You know, I would never wear that outfit, but good for her.
But then there's the other side of it. I can be someone else who's just like, okay, well, ew, I hate that girl. Look at her love herself over there, right? I can take that opinion, right?
But the difference between the first and the second is the second one's being honest.
No, that's the thing. Like I actually, that is like one of my biggest pet peeves in my life, actually, is people who have to look at somebody else and just by the way they look, they have to automatically hate them, right? So
hey,
that's why I say
sometimes, hey, you know what? Sometimes it saves your life.
Not by looks, though. You can't. That's not what I'm talking about.
You probably walked away from multiple serial killers and you don't even know it.
That's a different story.
Remember, they're not serial killers till they get caught.
True.
Before they get caught, they're next door to your next door neighbor.
No, what I'm saying though is like I don't judge people who do that because I've been on a beach sometimes, like on vacation, and my husband likes to take pictures, so I'll do some pictures with him, you know. And I know there's people standing by that are like, oh, look at how stupid.
Oh, listen, see, now you're trying to read people's minds. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what they're thinking.
Oh, you totally read. You
don't know what they're thinking
all the time. No, I just expect that.
You don't know, but you don't know what they're thinking. You think you know what they're thinking, but you don't know what they're thinking. They might be looking at you going, "She's cute," because that's probably what they're thinking. Because I seen your pictures. You're cute. Now.
That's what I mean. I want to be that person who appreciates their cuteness. I don't want to be that person.
But I'm just saying, it doesn't matter which person it is. It doesn't change. This is the thing about self-esteem. When you have great self-esteem, and it's not easy to get it. You have to overcome a lot of your history and feeling bad about yourself. We all go through life's roller coasters. But when you finally can keep your self-esteem up, is because it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't even matter. If somebody's standing there thinking things, you can't watch somebody and not think anything. Something's going to pop into your head. You know, like when golf is when you golf, they'll tell you, you know, when people don't know what they're talking about and try to teach it, when you're getting ready to putt, they tell you, clear your mind, think of nothing. And a guy goes, try that. Try to think of nothing. No one can think of nothing. You better, so he goes, pick something to think about that's going to help you. Instead, so you can't sit there and watch a photo shoot and not draw up things in your head. You're gonna do it. It's gonna be, wow, look how amazing she looks. Some people are gonna be like, you know, she's okay. And they're all right. Every single one of their opinions are right because that's just their personal feeling about what they're seeing. Who cares? Like, some people can only handle the good thoughts. They can't handle people who don't like what they're seeing.
Yeah.
And because I've been in magazines, lots of magazines in my bodybuilding career, I realized a long time ago, some people are going to like it, some aren't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they're entitled to it. They're entitled to like it. They're entitled not to like it. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying to you, when I hear you talk, I'm like, yeah, she's looking at people assuming she knows what they're thinking. Why does she even care what they're thinking? Just take your picture and sit down and kick it and that. It's hard to do that until you start realizing you're not doing it.
Yeah.
And then so I had to learn how to be. I'm okay. I'm cool. You think I'm a 2? Great. You think I'm a 7? Great. You think I'm a 0? Great. It's all great. Because no matter what you think, I still look the same when like this ain't changing much. Okay, I can shave it, I can clean it up a little bit. You have to be okay with yourself. And people can't. And that's why I'm just teasing you a little bit. But that's what when people say that, that's exactly what they're doing. And I know what it feels like because I was in the public eye, and I know at first you're like, I used to walk into restaurants because I was really big, and everybody would stare, and it got super uncomfortable. So I started putting blinders on, and I would walk in and I wouldn't see nothing. And people would tell me, man, I saw you the other day, but you just walked right by me. And I'm like, I didn't see you. Trust me, I did not see you. I walked past Arnold, when I met Arnold Palmer, I walked past his entire table with his family and didn't even see him.
Yeah.
Because I learned to just block everything. That's why when you see actors in them just kind of walk past crowds, that's all you learn how to do is just, everybody's a blur.
Yeah.
Because it's really uncomfortable for some of us. Some love it. But for me, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that's how you feel. But you don't think you're doing is you're going, well, what are they thinking? What are they thinking about me? That's what you're doing. And I know what that feels like. But trust me, it doesn't matter anyway.
Now, I'll say that I do think about that. That's like one of the things I would say that I do think about, just because more of along the lines of like just hearing people say certain things, right? So it sticks in the back of your mind. But
also you do it. You do it a little bit.
Everybody does it, right?
Not everybody. No, that's not true. Because think about this. If you walk around and seriously understand what judging means, judging doesn't mean that you come to a conclusion about something you see. Everyone does that, but everyone doesn't think they're right about the conclusion they came up with and treat the person as if they're right. That's the judgment that we need to watch. It's not, I see a guy walking down the street and I go, wow, he's 6'11", and I wonder if he's a basketball player. That's my judgment. I think he's a basketball player.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm right, but everyone has a judgment. When people used to see me, they thought football. That was a judgment. Okay. Do you play football? I bet you. No, actually I was. I played baseball and I'm a bodybuilder. Oh, okay. Are you a pro? That's another judgment. They don't know if I'm a pro or not. So we judge all the time. The judging, people don't realize it's when you go, oh, this person is blah, blah, blah. And then you actually think you're right. And you treat them that way. Yeah. Oh, she must be, she's really cocky and nasty. So you walk up to her with an attitude and the girl's like, well, what did I do to you? That's the judgment that's not good. When you actually believe your judgment is right about this person. That's why I don't care what someone tells me about you. I listen to it and I go, okay, they said that she's this way, that way, that way. Now let me see if it's true, but I don't treat you like it. I just wait to see if any of this stuff comes out of you. And if it doesn't come out, then I just throw it away because I'm like, no, maybe that's their relationship. But our relationship is good. I always tell people that I have had people tell me, oh, that person out of that. And I look at them, I'm like, that's your relationship with them. We get along just fine.
Yeah.
And they look at me and I'm like,
had people in my life where that's happened, right? Where I've gone to like a gathering and somebody comes up and they're like, oh, that person that was just talking to you, you got to know this about him, right? And they'll go on to tell me all this stuff about him. And I'm like, I understand that that's the way you feel about him, but I like to have my own perspective about people and the way that they treat me. And I see the way that they treat others, So that's kind of the way that I usually deal with that kind of stuff. But kind of going back to like what we were saying, like I've had those moments where people have straight up come up to me and they're like, oh, like they'll have a conversation with me. And then 5 minutes into the conversation, they're like, oh, you're actually smart for a blonde girl. And I'm like, really? Like that was your first thought?
But no, that was their prejudice before they got there.
Yeah.
So they didn't say you, they said blonde, which means they think every blonde is that way.
Yeah.
Not you.
Yeah. So that's like one of my biggest pet peeves. So I often like think about that and just the way that we treat people and we judge people before we know them.
But isn't that like kind of normal? Like, I don't think that normal, I guess I'm at an age now where I've accepted that there is a norm. Like when people say, I can't believe, I'm like, it happens all the time. Like, I mean, you can't believe. It happens all the time. Like, why would you? That's like living in a fake world. Like when you start a exercise program, and the first thing you think is, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, but I'm not gonna actually learn anything about what I'm doing. I'm just gonna go to the gym and wing it. That's what I did. I winged it for years until I realized I just stopped. I didn't look like I wanted to look. Yeah, I got stronger. I got a little bigger. Body fat was way too high. I didn't even understand what I was looking at when I looked at these pro bodybuilders. I didn't realize that, no, that's all muscle, dude. All of that. Like, this dude's 220 pounds and all of it is muscle, bone, water, and organs. Like, I didn't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to hire somebody and was like, okay, I don't know enough, man. I just don't know enough. And I was competing and taking top 5. And I was like, I just don't know enough. So if I'm a guy who's on stage competing, realizing I don't know enough, how could you start this thing thinking you know enough when you're just starting out? And that's the problem is it's way harder than people realize. That's why there's not that many people that look like that.
Yeah.
You think about all the people in the world. Now you see a lot more people today because there's more people like me who they have access to. There wasn't that much access to people like me when I was doing this.
Yeah.
There was Charles Glass, there was Chris Aceto, there was Chad Nichols. There was then you had lower level guys. You didn't have high level guys that you could just get on the internet and find.
Yeah.
I know tons of guys that are on it that do what I do. And I know they all know what they're doing. But you couldn't find that before. Mm-mm. All the pros, all my friends that competed, the guys before me. I mean, you can get a hold of some quality people today. Not make any. You see, the people I work with, they just get better and better and better. they always get better, and it's because we really really understand it, and we also understand it's not fast. Some of the sub things, people go out too fast, shoot out the box, and they end up getting injured or overtraining. And what I mean by overtraining is your body's just not recovering, and you're tired all the time, and you can't recover. People don't understand the nutrition side and how important it is. The rest, like Tony, she's like, I'm like, you're tired, man. I said, you know what you need to, I said, this weekend I want you, and I gave her a little chore for this weekend to research sleep patterns and how to get ready for sleep and what time to start so she can schedule out and develop better sleep habits, because that's important.
Yeah.
She's lost, lost 30 pounds in, 15, 16 weeks, and she's doing great. 4 months. Yeah. So, and then she's slowing up a little bit and she's like getting a little frustrated. I'm like, no. This is normal, I said, but let's not, I don't want to change your diet until we're doing everything right. Yeah. And then you're not losing weight. Then I can change your diet. So who does that when they on their normal program? Nobody does all that. Yeah. I've changed Bailey's diet probably 20 times. We've been training about a year now. About 20, at least 20. Wow. I've changed Tony. We've only been training 4 months. I've changed her diet probably 4 times already. So how can you take something off the internet and it work? It's not gonna work like that. It's gonna work till it doesn't work anymore, and then you're screwed.
Well, too, I think when you go into like a fitness plan or a fitness journey, you got to realize what you want out of it. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier, and that's where I was when I started my journey. Is I was like, okay, I want to achieve something I've never achieved before. So I can't keep doing the things that I was doing before because I'm not going to achieve
that. What I did before got me where I'm at, and that's great. But if you want more, you got to learn more.
Yeah,
that's all. It's not. That's why I mean it's not. It should be common sense. It should be. I only know but so much, which is only going to get me but so far. So maybe I need to learn more. And where do I get that information from? Probably somebody who already knows it, and someone who can explain it in my terms, because this is not what I do. Like the other day, I sent a workout to somebody, and it was like, "What's the cable?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Oh, we haven't done that. Okay, scratch that." She knew what I was talking about, but it was just side laterals with a cable instead of a dumbbell. But I hadn't taught her that yet, So there's so many things out there that even if I'm telling you to do it, if I don't explain it to you, you still ain't gonna do it right.
Yeah,
that's how hard it is.
Just even like training with you the few times that I did, like I realized like I was lifting in the wrong way or doing certain things with the wrong posture, or and
we haven't even gone over a lot. I mean, we need to set another workout and do a different body part. Actually, we could do the same body part, and you'll learn more. You're probably doing stuff wrong already that I taught you.
Yeah,
seriously, because if you don't, even I've been training in how long now? Almost 40 years. Okay. I still sometimes go in the gym and find myself out of line. I'm like, wait a minute, now reset and start over again. Still, because you got other stuff on your mind. You got life going on, you got all kind of stuff. So even now, I'm like, I'll catch myself. I'll do a whole set and be like, what was that? Like, where was your mind? You weren't even counting. You weren't thinking about it. And I'll do the set over again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, because I don't believe in going to the gym and wasting time. If you're going to go do that, take that part out of your day, you should get everything you're supposed to out of it.
Yeah.
And if you do that, I had a client tell me once, he was like, dude, if you would have told me years ago, because we worked out twice a week, he goes, in 2 hours a week, I could achieve all of this. He goes, I'd have told you no. And I said, don't get me wrong. I know what I'm doing. Because, you know what I'm saying? That's not a lot of time to work with somebody twice a week. That was the only time he was working out. So, you know what I'm saying? That's not typical, but and it also wasn't short. It took some time for that to happen, but it still happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but I'm making the most of those 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not, there's no fluff. There's specific stuff every week to get you to where we want to be and setting the goal. And okay, this is where we want to be in 6 weeks. And so that's why that's the biggest mistake, is people really don't appreciate. What did Tony say to me the other day? She goes, I was driving to the gym, and she goes, and I just started laughing. She goes, you're like an artist, aren't you? You're like a freaking artist. And I go, yeah. I said, I kind of look at us like that. Like we take bodies and we sculpt them with metal and food.
Yeah.
And we change people's shapes. Yeah, with metal and food. That's pretty much it. And I said, I kind of look at it like that too. That's why when I get them, I'm like, what do you want to look like? And I get excited about creating this look for them.
Yeah.
Like, how I'm going to do that. Huh?
That's super cool. I love that.
It is. Yeah. It's pretty fun. And that's what I like about it. That's why I like to buy people who want to compete, or at least want a physique that's really, a cut above just regular, just the norm. Like there's, I want to look good. And then there's, I want to look good. Then there's like, I want to look great. So I like when people want to take it up a little bit, because it builds self-esteem.
Yeah.
You're going to learn a lot, because I'm going to teach you stuff because like I have a guy named Mark, where when I trained him in California, in LA, in Thousand Oaks, we would just train to be in shape. Then last year, we reconnect when I'm out here, and he's like, I want to get ripped. And I was like, oh, I didn't teach you that. He was like, what? I go, I didn't teach you all of that. That's, and I was like, all right, there's a difference between that and this. And he sees it, how much food you got to eat. You know, the training goes, things change when you want to go a little to the next level. So I like that. It's fun. And it just makes you, first of all, your self-esteem goes up because you look amazing. Your knowledge goes up.
Yeah.
You change your habits. Like Bailey don't drink no more. Like she's only 27. So when we first started, she had just got out the Navy. She's still drinking with a buddy. She's like, I don't want to drink. I don't want to eat that stuff. Like she's completely, like, it's crazy to watch how much she's changed. Just her language. I just listened to it happen.
Yeah, I love talking to her, because I have had some of the same feelings, because once you take some of those things out of your diet, then you really don't feel like you have a need for them anymore. Like it gets easier. And so that's what I like to tell people. I'm like, it's very hard. It's very hard plan, but once you do it, it's a lot easier than you think to stick to it.
And the thing that people don't ever is that you talked about mindset earlier.
Yeah.
Do you understand the difference between failing all the time and how it makes you feel as a person, and winning all the time and how that makes you feel as a person? Why do you think they don't want, like they in schools now, when a team is getting blown out, they want to turn the clock off? They think by the team that's getting blown out, by not showing them the score, they're not going to know they were getting their blown out. Like, I'm like, they know they were getting blown. Matter of fact, the fact that you cut the clock off tells them that you don't even believe they can catch up.
Yeah.
Like it's so backwards. Like I tell people, a lot of people have short minds. They only think about right now. They don't think about the end result of doing this stuff right now.
Yeah.
But you constantly telling kids there are no winners and losers, and they get out in the real world, and that's how the whole world works. What the heck? What are they going to do? They're going to be grown people, big old grown men crying because they don't get their way.
Yeah. They'll have failures, and it's going to be harder for them to come back from those failures because they never failed.
Nobody told them how to deal with the failures.
Yeah.
Nobody told them how to deal with it. It's crazy. And I don't even know how they do this, because all you got to do is look at your own personal experience and you know that that's how it works.
Yeah, I'm totally that mom that if I go and I play a sport with my kid, because I love sports, right? And I was always just like, oh, I want my kids to play all these sports, right? Well, my kids they didn't really follow me in that direction. None of them really like sports, right? I tried so many times, hit my son in the head with a ball, like so many times, until finally I was like, he's not going to catch this ball. Like, this is not going to happen, right?
And this is borderline abuse.
Actually, my husband had to take me aside because I played team sports. He did a lot of different types of sports, right? So he's like, okay, he's not enjoying this.
You need to get in the house.
Yeah, so I got in trouble for it, right?
you got put in timeout.
But I am a competitive person, and I don't want my kids to think that they're gonna get everything easy in life, right? And so even when I play basketball with them, I'll go out and take them to play basketball. And even though like I know my ability because I played it my whole life is way up here where they're just down here, I'm kind of probably one of those mean moms that I still don't let them beat me because I want them to realize that I'm not going to give them a freebie, right? Like I want them to really put in a full effort. And if I don't put in my
here's the thing, you know, what you said again, you said I don't want to be a mean mom. And everybody has turned doing the right thing. Just because someone doesn't like something doesn't make it mean.
Yeah.
Are green beans mean? I don't like them, but they're not mean. So we make things that we make things that make people uncomfortable mean. It's not mean because what your son's going to one day go look up and go, Tiger Woods' father never let him beat him. And how did Tiger Woods turn out as a golfer?
He's kind of
okay. Good. He never let Tiger beat him. Even the one time Tiger says he beat him, his father was like, nope, you didn't get me that time. It was the next time you got me, but you didn't get me that time. Yeah. Tiger's a grown man. His father was still like, nope. Because if I let you beat me, you don't have to get better. You don't have to get better. You don't have to. Who's going to do that in the real world? No one's going to do that for you in the real world. Okay, we know you're not that good, so we're all just going to miss shots too. So we're all going to just miss our shots together.
So no one's doing that together.
No one's going to do that. So they're teaching these kids a completely unrealistic way to look at the world. And when they find out, it's going to be shocking. And they're not going to know what to do with it because they're out in the world already. I always tell people, if you want to watch, let your kids make all their mistakes while they're home. So you can be there to catch them and pick them up and dust them off.
Yeah.
So throw as much at your kids as you can before they leave home.
Yeah.
And trust me, like I had my son get fired from a job. I didn't ask him to, but she fired him because he was acting up and trying to be a smart aleck and get away with things, which he would do to me all the time. And I told him the real world, that doesn't happen. They're going to just fire you. And then he lived to experience it.
Yeah.
And she was one of my clients, and she told me, she goes, I probably wouldn't have fired him if he wasn't your kid, if he was just a kid, but he has you still. He's still at home. He has a bed to sleep in. He needs to learn this lesson. He can't be doing that.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you. And I said, thank you. Thank you. And I called him up and we talked, and he tried to run game on me. Like she was wrong. And I was like, Idris, this is what his name is Idris. I go, dude, this is what you've been doing to me for 3 years. And I kept telling you, this doesn't work stop acting, because he's very smart. I go, you think you're smarter than everyone else in the room, and you're not.
Yeah.
And finally, that's when I sent us to the Air Force. And then 2 weeks into the Air Force, he wrote me a 2-page letter apologizing. 2 weeks in.
Wow.
I get it. I get what you're saying. I get it. Because they made him the dorm chief. Want to hear something crazy? This is kind of how God works, right? I don't talk about God a lot because I don't like everybody's opinion of how it all goes down. But I definitely believe in God, but I have my own way of doing it. Yeah. But I believe, I think he works. He works through you, not for you. That's how I look at it. Okay? God don't work for you. I think he works through you. So you got to dig deep and find things and do things in a certain way. So he goes to boot camp because of him not listening and always getting in trouble and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, look, you need to hear my message from some other adult. Because I'm just like Charlie Brown's school teacher at this point. Yeah, I didn't want to hear my parents at your age. I get it. I completely get it. I said, I'm more sick of my voice than you are. Trust me. Because I'm repeating myself all the time, the same thing. I would love to not have to repeat myself. So when he leaves, he texts me that he's the dorm chief. And I'm like, you're the dorm. Now in the military, when you go to Air Force Army, whatever, they have like 50-something guys from all over the country. A bunch of people don't know each other, from the city, from the sticks, everywhere. And you got to galvanize as one. That's why the military is good. It takes that individual stuff away and makes you a team. So, and they pick somebody to be the head of that. And then you're responsible for all of these yahoos that you don't know how they were raised by this, So it's a job, and you're responsible for it. So they make him the dorm chief. So every time they do something wrong, he would get in trouble. He'd be doing push-ups. So when he wrote me the letter, it was because of how they just couldn't follow basic instructions. And he was the same way. Just, could you take your trash out? Could you clean your room? Like, I was like, why do I got to ask you 5 times the same thing? You're like, why? The trash can, matter of fact, you walk right past the garage. Like your room is right next to the garage. Like if you took the bag, it would just be a little shuffle to the right.
It's way too hard. It's way too hard.
I go, but every time I come into the kitchen, the garbage looks like Jenga. I can't even put anything on it. I'm like, put some up there and I run out the kitchen so it don't fall. So when he's in boot camp, he's getting in trouble for things he writes me this letter. He was like, I get it, man. I get it. He goes, I asked these guys to do the simplest things and they don't do it. And I'm doing push-ups. And he puts parentheses, just like me. I asked this, that, and they won't do it. Just like me. He kept paying just like me. And I started crying. I was like, thank you. Like, because I didn't know what to do. I'm like, he's going to hurt out there if he don't get this together. So I still have that letter too. But and now this is where karma comes in. When I go to watch his graduation, he goes, hey, Dad, can you bring a couple of your 8x10s and sign them to my drill sergeants? And I'm like, you're a drill sergeant? Like, drill sergeants don't talk to you like that. You're a peon. You're like, shut up, maggot. Like, I'm like, your drill sergeants want a picture of me? Like, I did not get that. I'm like, what kind of conversations are you having with your drill sergeant? Because none of our drill sergeants give a damn about us. The day we graduated, they were still like, like shit. So I get there, and he takes me to his dorm, and they're two muscle heads. They knew me.
Oh, funny.
They knew me. So because they knew me, when he has the same name as mine, they go, Idris Wardell. How many Idris Wardells are there? Right? So they go to him and they go, is your father the bodybuilder? And he was like, yeah. And it was like, that's why they made him the dorm chief. And because they made him the dorm chief, he got that experience. And then he,
yeah, that's
Is that crazy?
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. So I met them and I shook their hand. I go, well, thank you for making him dorm chief, because he learned the lesson that I was trying to teach him. One of the reasons I wanted him to come here.
Yeah.
Was,
and
get off his behind and handle his business. And that's what y'all taught him. So good.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing is like, sometimes like it's easy to give up on those parts and just make it easier for our kids, right? When things are too hard with our kids, sometimes it just feels easier to not keep implementing those things. But like for me in our situation, like I still, even though my kids don't really love sports, they don't go out and play team sports, they do different things, right? But when we go out and we play as a family, like there are times when they beat me, like in a game of basketball, of a certain basketball game, right? And had I stopped giving them those opportunities, stopped like trying to have them compete with me, then they wouldn't have even learned those skills, you know, and just knowing that they needed to try harder, they needed to do their best. And I think that's what a lot of people lack. And like what you're talking about is like they knew the type of person that they were getting because of who you were. They knew that you were going to keep a structure in your family, in your home, that they could trust that he was going to be that.
I mean, it had, you know, it was really crazy. I was like, wow. I was like, cool. They knew me. They were fans of mine, and they saw the name, and they, you know, and everything that I was hoping. That's the whole reason for sending him. He saw it in 2 weeks. Like that was crazy. That's why I always tell people, like, just I don't care if you don't. I never. And I tell my son. I told everybody around me. I honestly don't care if you like me. I don't. Because I'm never trying to hurt you. I never try to hurt anybody. I never do things. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't like me, it's because you don't like someone that wants something good for you. And I'm telling you, because there's nothing that I want bad for you. So when my son didn't like it, I was like, I don't care. This is what you got to do, whether you like it or not. And people can't do that because this is what happens. People quit on their kids. They don't want to feel what it takes. It doesn't feel good to do that. Everybody always like, kind of, you said a little bit. I didn't really like the way you worded it, but you said it's hard on the kids, so the parents don't do it. No, it's hard on the parent. That's why they don't do it, because it's good for the kid. That's why they were trying to implement it in the first place.
No, but that's what I meant actually, is that it's hard
to implementing it because it's hard on them. Yeah. They can't handle it. I used to tell him all the time, do you really think I want to put you on punishment? You think I want to tell you can't go with your friends? No, I would love to just be like, later, go. I go, but you didn't do what you're supposed to do. We wouldn't even be talking if this was done. Like, this conversation shouldn't even be happening. And I had to drill that in his head. Only reason we're having this conversation is because you're not handling your business.
Yeah.
And people don't want to do that. And I had to do it 1,000 times. And I tell people, if your kids listen the first time, being a parent will be easy. They did everything you said to them. Clean your room. Oh, shoot. Get dressed. What? But you gonna brush your teeth? What? And they did it after that. They just continued to do it after that. Parenting would be a piece of cake. I'd have 9 kids.
Children, right?
I'd have 9 kids right now.
True story.
9 kids, and I wouldn't have to work. I'd be like, okay, you go to work at Merrill Lynch.
Seriously though, and that's what it is it's hard as a parent to stick to those things when your kids don't listen, but it is so important, right? And you know, you
can't quit. Sorry, you can't get tired. You can't get tired. I told my son, I can't get tired. I said, I'm so tired of telling you the same thing. So tired of it. But I'll say it again tomorrow if I need to. And I never did. And so when a lot of people, anyone who knows my children, they all go, your kids are freaking awesome. And I'm like, boy, you have no idea how hard it was. But at the end, now my daughter was different because she's a pleaser. My son was the challenger. So I don't want to put her in that mix. She was much easier. She was more like with you, with the kids and her mom, because her mom was an Olympic athlete. So she didn't have anybody in her lineage that was like, take it easy. We were like, nope. But that's why she did so good. And that's why she did so good. That's why she had all those scholarship offers and all those D1 schools, because she had no way out. Her mother was like, oh, you're going to work hard. I'm like, you're going to work hard.
Yeah. But that's how life is, right? Like when we stop working hard, then, I mean, anything and everything that is great in this world is going to take work.
Comes from hard work.
Yeah. And
we value.
Yeah, we've talked about
anything that's worth something is hard to achieve. Think about that. Anything that's actually worth something.
Yeah.
A successful marriage, a successful parent-child relationship, a successful business. All of that stuff is hard. Yeah. Like nothing easy is really that great. Nothing.
Yeah. Nothing. And you have to learn that journey for you to grow and actually get to the next level. And we kind of talked about that before, and just what it does for you, and kind of what we're talking about today. Like we make these mistakes because we don't do things where we're learning how to change our habits, where we're learning to like actually know how these things affect our body and why we're having the results we're having, you know? And
you look at a drug dealer and how hard it is to do what they do, but the money comes so quick that they don't respect the money anymore. Because I got, like Pablo Escobar had built millions on pallets in dirt. He didn't know what to do with all that money. So everything out there that if it comes too easy, you don't cherish it.
Yeah.
You just don't cherish it. But if it's hard to achieve, now he worked to build all that, so he kept the business running, but the money part of it became nothing.
Yeah.
But the hard work he put into create that thing, he always worked at.
Yeah.
Same thing in positive things. Same thing in marriages. Same thing. You look at any bad person in history, they worked their butt off to get where that, even though it was bad, but they worked their butt off to get there.
Yeah.
So both counts, just true.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean they're stupid. People used to talk about Trump. He's so stupid. I'm like, he's the president. I don't know how stupid. I don't know. I know he says some dumb things, but he's stupid. He's the president. That's not easy.
It all takes work. It takes a structure.
It takes something. I mean, something. I ain't the president. That's for sure.
I would never want to be the president.
There ain't nobody be no president. I'm the last person you want as president.
Well, this has been fun today. We're at our time, but this is always fun, and I'm excited for next week and what we can bring to everybody. So thank you, Coach Idris. You are amazing. Love having you as a friend in my life. So yeah, any last words before we leave?
Enjoy the weekend, folks. October's already here, man. Time is flying.
No, I don't like it.
I'll be 57 in 2 months.
Yeah, my 40th is coming up in January. So
January what?
January 30th. So
damn.
I need to start stepping up my workout, and I'm gonna do some pictures next week for everybody also. So
cool. Yeah, let me see them. See what we probably need to change your diet so you're trying to lean out a little more, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay, awesome.
Have a great weekend, guys.
See ya. Hey guys, thanks for joining us today, and hopefully that was good for you like it was for me. I really enjoy having Coach Idris's perspective on things, and you can see how different it was from last week. So I'm excited for you guys to listen to both and give me your thoughts. Send me some messages, things that you're struggling with, things that make it hard for you to stay on your path. So reach out, let me know what we can help with, and have an amazing weekend, and I will see you next week.